Hello, and welcome to another Marissa Knits podcast episode featuring some ambient wind sounds from Blizzard Elsa. There's a blizzard today. It's Sunday, March 15th. The blizzard's for all of Wisconsin, so I'm not even identifying what part of Wisconsin I live in when I say that right now we have a blizzard, because all of us are experiencing this blizzard. So I, of course, am trying to get as much knitting done as I can. I work at a church. We canceled church today. We basically never do that. So I didn't have to go to church, which is wild. I'm not going to know what day it is for probably a couple weeks now because of that. I brought home some stuff that I can work from home tomorrow. And then even yesterday before the blizzard started, I wrapped up one project already. Even pre-blizzard, I was down to this project that I run out of yarn for, and the new yarn to finish the cuffs still hasn't shipped yet. So I'm just gonna update you on everything I've made so far this year while I was hard at work with my university students. I haven't had time to film. We also, mid-February, were at a resort in Mexico with my in-laws for 8 days, which was lovely. I'm super blessed and everything, but I was so far behind on learning music when I had gotten back. And so I've hardly been able to knit in the last couple weeks. I took some knitting to solo ensemble rehearsals, and then the students were just non-stop, and which makes sense. None of them ended up being sick, thank God. So I just haven't been able to get that much done. I'm gonna start by showing you the thing I have in my lap right now. So this I started last year in February. I think I made 4 of these hearts, and the hearts are actually from a free, very old free necklace pattern on someone's blog. I think I made a little bit of alterations to how I closed off the tops of them, and then I made 4 white baubles, and all of these are from scrap yarn from when I used to do charity knitting for maternity wards or whatever. When I was in middle school, I would knit hats for babies, and I still have scraps from that time, although not a lot of scraps for that time, but these 2 in particular, these I know are scraps from middle school. So I have a little bit left in kind of Valentine's Day-ish colors, but I'm thinking I might eventually make a spring, Easter kind of themed one, and then a fall one, and then we can rotate these. So I have this hung in one of our stairwells right now. We have a split level home, so we have 3 half levels of stairs. So the 2 main ones that are not in our basement, the upper one, I have a rainbow garland that I've left up from the holidays from 2024, I think. I just never have bothered to take it down. And then so this is my Valentine's Day garland. So I finished these in the couple days before we went to Mexico, basically just because I didn't want to I wanted to be at a certain part of my sock project for there, so I didn't have to use my brain. And so I just didn't have a whole lot else to do at the time, and I had decided not to bring my sweater project. So I finished that up, and I'm gonna hang that back up in a little while. I'm gonna show my only pair of socks. So these are Night and Day socks by Elena Malevich. I made one other pattern of hers last fall, and I really loved it. They're Mosaic socks. These really need to be washed. There's something sticky on the bottom of one of them. You can even kind of see it. So these are Mosaic socks. They have a cable pattern on the front, and they are half and half, where you can wear it with the blue on the inside or the tan on the inside. I think they're called Night and Day and not Day and Night. They are so beautiful. I ended up using up different contrast colors on the heel and then also in the cuff. So the tan color in these is Seashore by Goosey Fibers, and then the blue is the Blue Langshan Backyard Chicken collection by Hugh Loco. So those are leftovers from other previous sock projects I had. And these were so fun to knit on the beach because there was like the sand and then the blue ocean like matched these. So I had started these in January and I think I got to about here and then I decided they would be good for like playing knitting. And I really need to wash this. This is so dirty. Yikes. And so I finished them in Mexico. The Mosaic's a little time consuming, but I have a lot of knit socks. And so I think in the last like 6 months or so I've realized, oh, the goal is not to knit vanilla socks as fast as possible. The goal is to knit well-fitting, beautiful socks that use up more yarn and are 2 colors and like are thicker and more durable and, you know, well-fitted. It's better for me to like take the time to knit a well-fitted pattern that like carefully uses up my yarn. And like it's a way to like take more time to knit it. Like the goal is that I not knit things too fast, that I like knit things that take me a good amount of time so that I'm not just producing thousands of yards of stockinette fabric for no reason. So I'm pretty happy with these. I have been wearing them. They're pretty short because I can show you what I had left. This is the amount of blue I had left on each side. So I don't know that I could have done another like 12 or 8 row chart repeat on the foot. I could have done it, but it would have been really close to me running out on the toe that I would have spent the rest of my sock knitting process freaking out about how I was gonna run out of yarn. So I've just got tiny little leftovers, and these are the only socks I made so far this year, and I don't have any on my needles. I don't think that I'm gonna make it to the end of the blizzard in the next 30 hours without casting on more socks. I have a feeling by the time we're done with the blizzard check-in, I'll have more socks on my needles. The next project that I made starting in February and finished last night is a pattern that I knit now for the 4th time. So I first made this pattern for myself in 2020. It's the olive pink pattern by Casa Pinka. It's the first pattern I ever made of hers. And then my mom and my mother-in-law also wanted them. So 3 years later in 2023, I knit both of them scarves with the same, that's my cat's feeder. So she's probably gonna come screaming for moral support. Anyway, I was wearing my olive pink to work. I still need to block this, so in the meantime, I guess I can wear it. I was wearing it to work, and my coworker was like, wow, I love that. I really love that scarf or whatever. And so I kind of like suggested that like maybe I would make one for her. And I even asked her, I was like, would you rather have like a cowl that you just pull over your head, because cowls take less time to make and I think they're better fitting? And she was like, no, I like the long scarf. I don't know what it is about Gen X and being resistant to cowls and wanting to wear scarves instead, because for like my millennial friends, we all do like the cowl thing. We like cowls for the most part. Anyway, so I made her an olive pink, and I had just gotten a haul of some yarn that I ordered on Reddit. So one of them, I had a video of me opening these, but it's like a month old. It's 2 months old, so I'm not even gonna include it. This is the main color. When I was winding it up, I made such a mess of the yarn that I ended up cutting it a couple times. And so this is Fleur de Lis by Hugh Loco, and it came with these 2 minis. The darker one I used in my sweater project, which you'll see in a bit. And then this chocolate one, I used a little bit of it in this shawl. And then I have this other sock set. This I would have to find the tag. Let me see if I can find the tag. I was able to find it. You can see the mini is almost gone. And this is the main color. It's a light gray but has a little bit of green in it. And these are Kim Dye's yarn, rolling paper, and ash. So I had that sock set, and I used up almost exactly half of this light gray, but I only used up like 30 grams of this color. So I have enough of this that I could make a decent pair of socks still with it. And then my cousin got me a ball of this Malabrigo. It said it was sock yarn, but it's completely wool. There's no nylon in it, so I'm unsure about if I want socks with this or not. It's so pretty, but I think I might have another project in mind for the leftover of this purple. And then I had a set of Hue Loco minis, just a collection of like a whole pile of these like earth tone minis. The lighter ones I still have here, and then this is one of the solids from that set. I used up a lot of that, and the darker like variegated colors from that set. I don't know if the rest of this one is somewhere. I was looking around my house to see if I have a scrap of one of these minis that like is not with the rest of my stash right now, because it's possible that I have like 8 grams of something just floating around and I just have misplaced it in one of my bags for now. So this is my olive pink result. The end of this always likes to roll. I did a couple extra rounds of ribbing on the cast off to try and keep it from rolling. So basically for color B, I just used up a lot of these like random dark minis that all had a pretty similar color scheme. And so we've got like a white, gray, brown, and purple scarf. It still needs to be blocked. Like I said, I finished it yesterday. I had a lot better gauge with this section than I ever had, especially the first time I made it. I was able to knit it on the same needle size and like keep it nice and loose and open, so that's really good. So if you can't tell, like this is my favorite section. This is my favorite section of the pattern right here. This whole part of it, the first like 12 sections from here to here, this is the part that I made in Mexico. And then kind of on the plane ride back, I knew that I was gonna have to change, because color B was supposed to continue all the way through here, but I ended up changing it to the purple instead because my color B was a bunch of scraps, so it would have been like a fade and I didn't want that. So especially in this section, but in other sections as well, I actually changed up which of the colors I was using for which section. And so by the end of it, I was just kind of knitting with like whatever option I thought looked good and trying to vary them. So yeah, I've got this one variegated color and then the darker sort of variegated colors. This one I used up. I don't know how many grams this is, probably like 200 or something like that. I suppose I could weigh it. So I'm going to be blocking this. Her birthday is on Friday. My coworker's birthday is on Friday. I thought about waiting a couple years for her to retire, but when I realized how nice all these colors would look, that I happened to just, most of these had just come in the mail, and I assumed I would make socks with them, but I didn't have like a real plan. So once I realized how nice all of this looked together, I was like, all right, we're just going to make her the scarf that I already know she likes in these colors I happen to have. And she has like pretty dark hair, so I think the contrast with like the light and the dark is going to be really flattering on her. I've seen her wear purple before. I've seen her wear gray. I know she would wear these colors. And the purple is like nice and fun, but it's also like pretty neutral and not over the top. So I'm very pleased with how that went. I did make a melt the ice hat for my coworker at my university job. She's from Minnesota, and she was going over there to see her mom, who's like in her 90s in a nursing home, and she doesn't like the politics of most of the nursing home. So to make a point, she wanted to wear a melt the ice hat there. Although I'm not sure that any like people really. Do people in Minnesota know what the melt the ice hat means? Like the general public, have they recognized the meaning of the hat. I'm not sure because I'm over here in Wisconsin. Anyway, so this is the beginnings of a second melt the ice hat that I made with scraps. I actually knit a lot of this on the ride back from O'Hare Airport because it was at night, and so I had like left this in the car, and this I knit like backwards, like I just reverse engineered the pattern to have increases at the top. And I found that when I followed the worsted pattern, I didn't like ribbing all the way to here and then having the decreases be like that short. I don't really like the decreases at the top of the hat pattern, like when they're done to pattern. So I think I'm gonna, depending how many of these I make, which I probably won't make very many, but I think I will continue to make alterations to it because I have so many problems with hats, so many problems with hat fitting. I was just watching Tashi's newest Stitch and Starlight, their newest video today, and they were talking about, you know, the struggles of like learning to fit socks. And in my mind, I'm like, I've been so fortunate that the socks I make people fit very well, and I haven't had trouble fitting socks. And yet, like, I can't knit a freaking hat to save my life. Like, you would think that like a circle or like a tube that went on top of your head would be easy. It's not. Something about the ears and the depth and like the where to start the decreases, I am so bad at that. Maybe it's just that I haven't like followed patterns or measurements that I'm happy with or what. I don't know. Anyway, my mother-in-law, the one who I made the mittens for in my last video that I just got up, she also made a melt the ice hat for a coworker's like daughter who was going to be traveling to Minnesota. Over here in Wisconsin, you know, a lot of us are doing our part to make Minnesota, to provide our Minnesotan neighbors with melt the ice hats. I'm not sure. I mean, I know I donated some money when I like bought this pattern. It doesn't feel to me that like this is activism that like is really making a difference. I think it depends. I think if you are already doing activism, this is a nice little, I think by itself that I'm not actually helping anybody by doing this, but anyway, this is my leftovers from my melt the ice hat. And my mother-in-law also has leftovers from her melt the ice hat, and she had mentioned that she was thinking we should combine them to make one hat. So I haven't seen her yet, and when I do, I have to convince her to remember to bring her needles, because I don't want my needles to get left at her apartment for months and months, even though these are huge needles to me. They're a size US 7. I don't use them very often. I don't necessarily have plans to use them anytime soon, but so her red is a lot lighter and it's tweedy, which is cute. So we're just gonna have like a two-tone melt the ice hat. I'm thinking maybe she'll want to wear it. I don't know. But I have done like the part of the hat that's a little more work, and I knit until I ran out of yarn. I feel like my cat's playing with a leaf, and we don't like her to eat leaves because then she throws up. Okay, so I'm gonna stay alert to that. Anyway, she's gonna do the part where she just ribs the rest of the time. I'm just gonna have her rib until she runs out of yarn, and then we'll have like an adult size hat. It will just be two different colors, but that's fine. So, Rosie, what are you doing? Come here. This is a naughty. Okay, goodbye. Anyway, so I think that's everything that's finished that I'm able to show you. I don't remember giving anybody anything else. It's possible that I did. And then, like I said, I have one project like that I've been planning on making for a while. The main color I've just ordered more of. This is my second Veer in like a winter-spring colors. And the bane of my existence is that the white like bone color from my boneyard kit actually looked extremely yellow. I thought it was just like a nice creamy white, but it looks yellow, and I do not like how it looks. I've thought about like cutting into the middle of this ripping these out, re-knitting them, and then like grafting it back together. So you have the power to tell me yes, I should do that, or to talk me out of it and tell me it doesn't look fine and then it looks fine, or I don't know. Let me know what you think about that yellow, because I dislike how it looks. I made the like color work part of it in pretty low lighting, so I was thinking that like when more of it was done, it wouldn't bother me. Yeah, I had pretty limited scraps to make this with, and then I have this bell sleeve done, and this is the amount of the second sleeve I finished this morning before I ran out of yarn. And I have a half ball of this egret color on order from Goosey Fibers. I ordered it in February and it hasn't shipped yet, so hopefully the dyer must just be really busy. I hope they're doing okay. Or maybe it's because I like had changed my email that I'm not getting shipping updates. I'm not really sure. But I am gonna have to wait to finish this cuff and then do the neckline. Probably not gonna do a turtleneck version, but I'm gonna have to wait until I get that 50-gram ball of yarn. I'm hoping I don't have dye lot issues with that. I only have about 8 more rounds to go here. So I'm thinking I can just look through that skein and go from there. These are already not the same dye lot, so you can't, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the top of the arm here is like a more purpley ball, and then I did some every other row to transition into like the lighter purple, but I don't think it's really that noticeable. This baby really needs to be blocked, and I'm excited about it. I can't tell what my cat is getting into. I'm not as excited about it as I thought I would be because of the yellow and because of like how busy these colors seem. I think my fall bear, I must have just had like larger leftovers that I did all the color work with, and that color work was just so perfect. And I was thinking in my mind that this was going to be super pastel-like, but then I had to use all these dark colors, and I don't actually have more than like 2 grams of many other pastels. And when I tried to knit color work with like this like Monet-ish like bluey greeny pastel color, some of this has purple in it that's too close to my background color, and so no matter what I did, you couldn't see some of the color work in that, and then I had to rip it out. So I ended up doing like some more subtle color work, and then a lot of it's just really dark. I think I'm just being too picky because my fall pattern is just it's so beautiful. It's black. It has like orange and mustard and gray, light gray. It's so glorious that I like actually don't even wear it that much because I want to preserve it for like many decades. And so I was excited to have a spring one. Yeah, I made a lot of modifications in this as well. I didn't do steeking, so I knit all this top color work like sideways, back and forth, including the shoulders. And I eliminated all the stitches, and that's the main modification that I made. I also did the yarn overs and the lace for the border, but here I knit into the back loop of my yarn overs to close them so that the fabric wouldn't be so see-through. So this is my Veyer 2.0 Spring Edition. Let me know if you think that when I get more of my purple, if I should do more surgery to get rid of the yellow, or if you think the yellow like works. I don't think the yellow works. We'll see. Maybe I'll try wearing it for a while, and I'm sure if I wear it, everybody's gonna love it, and they'll try and talk me into loving it too. What I could do is I could put some of this light gray into the middle instead, like do more gray. I don't know. I could just knit more like solid purple in the middle. I could do, maybe we could keep a tiny little stripe of yellow, or I suppose I could almost, maybe I could like dye some of it somehow, or like duplicates. I don't know. Duplicate stitch I don't think would work. There'd be too much yarn involved. But it's possible that I could do something to make the yellow here like to look more white, maybe. Anyway, let me know what you think about that and be honest. So that's my Veer. Hopefully it'll be finished in April. I could block it actually like this. We could just have like a blizzard block party. I could block all of it because the top of the sleeve where I was knitting like magic loop for a while, I have this these loose stitches from not like babysitting my join tension well enough until I changed that to be at the bottom, and then this line is where I was changing skeins. It's just on the underarms, you can't really see it. So I have a lot of stuff with this I need to block out. And yeah. So stay tuned. That will be done whenever I get the rest of my yarn. So when I ran out of yarn for that today, I had nothing on the needles, which was tragic. And so I've had this plan to use some scraps to make a brioche headband for a teenager whose mom I work with at church, and she like volunteers there. She plays guitar. And so I've known her for like a long time. This is my brioche headband, and I didn't want to deal with doing this. My join is a little weird because the fabric was too puffy to do like the traditional shape that most headbands like this have that you see photos of and that most patterns look like. So I decided to have this, like both ends of it, be like triangle shaped. And so I started with 3 stitches, and then I've been doing increases in the middle until I got up to a total of 19 stitches, which is just a tiny bit smaller than mine. I don't necessarily, this one was like 40 some grams, but since I'm not using as much fabric, and I might make it just a tiny little bit smaller because I have a giant head. I think she has a normal sized head. And so, yeah, this is where I'm at so far. The main color is the 2 last leftovers from my Advent blanket from like the border. And the lighter one I don't have that much of, so I used a blue scrap there. And I'm probably going to use another blue scrap or knit from both ends of this. But I think I'm about like a third or like, yeah, like a quarter or like a third of the way done with it at the moment, which is good because I only did like 45 minutes of work on this so far today. So it's possible I'll finish this like tonight or tomorrow. And then I've got a bunch of different scrappy contrast colors. I've just started this like seafoam contrast color from one of my Advents, and then the Monet colors I wasn't able to include in the Bear. I have like all of these little options for the background color, and I am hoping to like basically just run out of all of these and not have a lot left over. So beyond that, I'm trying to see what other things I have to show you. I'm thinking I might make myself this a melt the ice hat out of this cashmere color. This yarn is so expensive because it's 100% cashmere, which is such a crazy like bougie thing to do. They had a bucket of red, and this was one of the only reds that I liked. And so I've thought about returning it, but like, I don't know. I don't want it to like languish at the yarn store after having been returned, you know? So I think I might wind this up and try and make myself a melt the ice hat that's like pretty long, it like has a lot of ribbing and then some extra length in the top of it, so that I can hopefully use up this ball. And then I think I would actually wear it. So I might wind that up and start that just to have something like mindless to do. And then I got myself this. It's a little bit more green in person. It looks like straight up gray on camera, but it's actually a little bit green. It's Crocodile Rock Explorer Knits and Fibers. I got myself this on Reddit recently, so I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. One of my plans for the near future is to knit myself like a wool like bra that like fits well. So I'm considering doing that with that. And then this is this is Rose Hill Yarns sock set called Prairie Winter, which is just absolutely beautiful. So I think I'll be able to knit like 2 different pairs of socks with this. One of them might have like stripes in it and stuff. And so this I just got myself on Reddit as well. These 2 things were items I ordered on Reddit. In my defense, it was my birthday, so I have those. And then all these little like leftover minis, which are useful to have. So I'm gonna put all the dark ones into this bag. So that's some of my stash right now. I have this cotton. This is such a ridiculous story. I'm probably gonna make like a little washcloth with this. So in December when we were on our like anniversary trip to the town where I went to grad school, we went to a yarn store there. It was one I'd actually been to when I was in school there. And that's where I got the yarn that I made my mother-in-law's mittens with. And I was showing her that I mostly do scrap knitting. I don't know if I had this with me or what it was that I was showing her, probably some scrap socks. But the owner just took some of her scraps and put them in my bag with my purchase. And she just sent me home with these 2 scraps. This little red one, which I don't know, it's probably just like wool. So this is not going to be so bad because I can use it to make a melt the ice hat for like a little gnome or something silly like that. I don't know. But then this is like 43 grams of like bright pink cotton. And I don't even knit with cotton. So I think I'm going to have to make a washcloth with this to get this out of my stash. So thank you so much, but no thank you for adding to my stash for no reason. And then I'm considering casting on another novelli. I've made one for one of my friends. I'm thinking this could be like the border color and the darker color, and then I have, some options. Like I could just keep doing color work with these, or I'm not sure what other options I'd have for color work with this. But I would just have to pick out a main color. So I'm trying to hold off until I think about what main color, until I can get to the yarn store, which obviously is closed today, and I think they're always closed on Mondays. So I would have to decide which friend I'm making it for, because it would be different sizes depending on which person I made it for. So maybe I'll check the yardage and the cast on just the hem of it, and then when I get to the yarn store I'll see if I can pick something that looks good with the purple. But that's my current plan for this, because there's no nylon in it, is to use it up in the border of a novelli. Another fun thing about the novelli is the sleeves are double thick, but the inside of them you don't really see, so I can use scrap yarn on some of the inside of the sleeves. So I would probably need to buy 2 new balls of yarn. I think it's supposed to be a sport weight actually. So yes, so those are my current plans. Melt the ice hat, a washcloth, this brioche headband, and then starting a shirt for one of my friends. And then these are probably the front runner for my next sock project. Oh, and making a bra. So those are all of my plans. I could try and make a bra with this color. That would be really pretty as well. Or I could make a purple bra, but I think this is such a pretty color that I would like to use it where it would be seen. Yeah, we'll see. This is probably gonna have to be a vanilla sock project because the yarn is so busy. but it's really pretty. This is giving snowstorm in March vibes right here. So look at that. I think this is one of those yarns that probably looks better in the skein than it might, depending what you knit it into. I'm also thinking about maybe making myself a hat because I still can't find my fall hat. In fact, let's maybe see if it's anywhere on our shelf, shall we? Maybe it's in this stack of hats and gloves and I just haven't been able to see it, but maybe it is still there. Except I fear that it isn't. Yeah, those are, yeah, it's, my fall hat isn't here. The brown fall hat I made like twice. It's literally not even here. That's distressing. Can't open the door all the way. I'm standing on the steps right now. And that's the path to get to my shovel. So, yeah. I guess it is a blizzard, huh? Okay, I finished my hat. It's Wednesday, but I finished the braid. I finished it on Monday night, but I finished the braid yesterday on Tuesday. I altered the braid. I put like a lot of extra strands in it to make it thicker, and I also knit a ton. I had to go down on my stitch count, even though this is a DK yarn, and I made the hat way taller. So I am actually really, really, really happy with the fit and the braid and the coziness. This is 100% cashmere. It's really bougie. Ula and Leah Crimson DK Mongolian cashmere yarn. I have 8 grams left over, which I don't know what to do about that. I've made a lot of alterations to the pattern, to be honest, because I wasn't happy with the way the first one fit me. I had to show you my matcha. Look at this. It's so beautiful. I also already had a peppermint latte this morning, and I decided to have a matcha as well. So, yeah, I'm just here to show you my hat. And my newest cast on is I decided to use the purple to make a novelli for my friend. I've never made her a garment before. I've only made her alpaca socks. I'm trying to tighten my needle. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. So yesterday I cast on in it like 6 or 8 rows, and then today I looked at it again in the daylight and I found that I had twisted my stitches, so it was a Mobius, and so I've checked it a bunch of times now, and I redid it today, and I've done like 2 rows so far, and we're not Mobiusing anymore, I don't think. Let me make sure. If I'm Mobiusing a second time, I'm gonna lose it. I'm trying to be quiet because my brother has these videos are just a series of different people living in my basement. My brother's here for hopefully about a month. He put earnest money down in an apartment yesterday, so hopefully he ends up getting that apartment. He has an apartment, but his downstairs neighbors like yell at each other, and they called the cops at each other on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. Anyway, so he's just here now. But he works like 2 p.m. until midnight, so he's still sleeping. I have a lot I need to do. This is the only thing on my needles right now. It's just this. A lot I need to do today. I did buy 2 balls of yarn to use as the main color for this. They're also Malabrigo. They're like extremely colorful, which is the vibes that my friend wants. Color is just her vibe, so she's fun to shop for. So yeah, that's the video. I need to take a shower and go do my actual job. Trying to get the fur off your whisker. Hello, it is Sunday, March 22nd, and you would never know that we had a blizzard. If you looked outside now, it was like 60 degrees on Friday or Saturday, so this is the most Wisconsin weather, I think, that we've ever had. We got like 2 feet of snow in a day and a half or so, which honestly we all thought it was kind of fun. I mean, the shoveling wasn't fun, but basically just everything was canceled and we all just stayed in our houses. Most of us, I mean, obviously people who work at hospitals or people who drive plows and stuff, like, they still had to go to work, which is unfortunate, but thank you to those people. But we all just kind of were like, I don't know, when the news is like, you're gonna get 2 feet of snow, or we might get 2 feet of snow, it's like, if we get 10 inches of snow, or we get 7 inches of snow, we feel kind of cheated. We were like, if you tell me I'm gonna get 2 feet of snow, I want to see it. Like, show me the snow. And so Blizzard Elsa did provide us with snow. And then 4 days later, it got to be 60 degrees. It's not all melted yet. It's mostly melted, but finally, like, all of our pathways, our sidewalks, and our driveways, the parts that still had snow on them have all melted away, so that's really nice. I thought I would just do an update on the remainder of what I got done in the week that we had the blizzard and then everything melted. I'm also on spring break for my college students. I finished the headband, I think in like one day, and then a different day I wove in all the ends on the back, which took forever. So all I have to do now is sew the corners of it here together and weave in these remaining ends. So that's probably going to take me like 15-20 minutes, and I think I might do that tomorrow, and then I'll be giving them to the student because it's going to get warm again pretty soon, so this week is still cold enough that she could wear it if she wanted to. Her mom says that she loves teal, so yeah. So I made her this teal headband out of scraps. It only used about like 28 or 30 grams of yarn. She's allergic to my cat, so I washed it, and I'm like putting it on top of clean towels that the cat hasn't been on right now. I blocked the scarf shawl thing and gave it to my coworker, and she said she likes it. So I've decided that spring is like accidentally a purple theme. I also blocked this, and for some reason, now that it's blocked, I hate the yellow less. Maybe it's because it like stretched out a little bit. I don't know. It did also mostly fix the tension issues at the top of the sleeve. You can still see there's some loose stitches there, but they've gotten a lot better, and maybe with wear and with future blocks that will even out just a little bit more, but it is a lot less noticeable. It looks kind of like it's part of the design, honestly, because it flows into the increases. So overall, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. So I still have some needles on this side of it, and one of them fell out, and then I dropped a bunch of stitches. So I don't know where my other half skein of yarn that I ordered is. If it never comes, and there's like a yarn store, there's one yarn store somewhere that has a half skein in stock as well. I could order from there. If it doesn't come, I'll have to go back and take out the last increase to about here, and like use that yarn on the collar and then redo the cuffs. That's why I haven't woven this in case I have to do surgery on it and get like 8 or 10 grams of yarn back to make the collar. So I'm gonna finish that whenever I get the rest of my yarn in the mail. What other projects? You saw my hat, you saw the headband, you saw the scarf I give away. That's everything I blocked. So I have 2 whips right now. The first of them you've seen, it's the Novelli by Boylan Knitworks. Now this has been on sale at least until today, I think. I'm going to try and get this video up today. If you want to make a Novelli, the pattern's on sale because the designer had their 10-year design anniversary this last week, which is super exciting. Congratulations, Boylan Knitworks. So this, I decided to use this like pretty pastel color that I got on our trip in Montana almost a year ago. And then this is a Malabrigo, I forget what color. So I'm using some of this as a contrast color, and whatever I have left is going to be like 70 grams still, so I can use it to make a pair of socks and not have leftovers, which is really exciting. I'm really hoping I don't run out of yarn. I'm making a size 4. This is supposed to be sport weight, so I sized up to a size 4 needle, and I'm trying to knit my color work nice and loose so that it will block out just a little bit and bloom. I'm loving this color work so far. It is so pretty. I've done about 16 rows of it. I'm trying to knit slowly and take a lot of breaks because I think I have tendonitis in this wrist right now, and it's, I think, getting to one of the nerves as well. I don't think it's from piano. I think it's from like the increased number of bar classes I've been taking, because it's my extensor, so it's like I can't bend my hand backwards or put weight on it from this way without like a lot of pain and discomfort. And then I can kind of feel it. Today I can kind of feel it here. I did some icing last night. I like never ice my hands or my arms, like never. I think it's because as a professional piano player, like I went to college when I was 18 and became a piano major, and I had to work out a lot of tension. I had hand and wrist like discomfort from like over practicing bad technique a lot when I was that age and around when I was 20. So I think I'm just used to like hand pain, doing it on my hands, doing it a little too much in some ways, but I worked through a lot of that because my teachers all did the Alexander technique. So now I play in a really healthy way, and like sometimes I'll over practice something that's like uncomfortable for my anatomy, and then I will sometimes have a little bit of hand pain or back pain, but it's normally like just some discomfort that goes away. But this has been pretty serious. Like, I've been trying not to practice too much. I've been trying not to knit too much and take breaks. The problem is I don't know if it's from knitting or from piano or from barre. The reason I don't think it's from piano is because it doesn't hurt at all when I play. When I play, it feels like I'm doing nothing. The reason I think it's from barre is because it's gotten a lot worse in the last 2 months that I've started doing. There's a challenge where you do 12 classes a month per the whole year, and I was trying to complete that. I think I probably will. I just have to like not take so many in a row, and there's certain formats and certain things of planks. Like, I just can't be planking right now. So I've stopped doing planks on my hands. I can do forearm planks, or I do planks on my fists like this. I'm going to be doing more icing because I've been surprised how much that helps. It's so funny that I'm 31 years old now, and I'm realizing, like, oh, when you damage one of your joints, you should ice it. When it comes to taking care of my body, like, I will just ignore a lot of pain. But I think I would like to go to occupational therapy, and also I've been trying to do like all these wrist strengthening exercises. So my plan is to do a lot of I need to just make it through my April-May recitals, especially April. I'm playing some frightening stuff in April this year. I even talk about it. If you all want to see more clips of me like practicing, you let me know, and I can film some of it. I practice like every day, so it's no trouble to film some of it. I've thought about doing like some practice vlogs, or like maybe expanding just outside of entirely knitting content. Like, I think I'm gonna maybe film going to my Florence and the Machine concert. It's on April 10th. April 10th, Chicago, Florence and the Machine. I'll see you there. Anyway, we're just going on a long rambling now. So this is what I got done since Wednesday. That's not bad for someone with tendonitis. And on Friday, I cast on these socks. You remember the other, the college student, the other person who was staying in my basement. She doesn't drive because she's from Vietnam, and she doesn't have a driver's license here and doesn't know how to drive. So I took her to Best Buy to pick out her new laptop. And so I needed something. I can't knit this outside of like being at my couch right now because the color work is too complicated, and so I have to sit. By the time I'm like getting into a row of this, I have memorized, like right now I have these last like 2 rows memorized just because I was just doing them. So I kind of memorize each row as I go along. It's difficult to memorize though, but I'm able to do it. And so this isn't something I can knit in public because it would be a lot to like be looking at the chart on my phone. It's a pretty long chart, and I can't manage all of this on the go. So this is a home project until I finish the color work and get onto the body of it, which is in stockinette. Oh, I meant to show you, this is the main color that I got. It's also Malabrigo. Isn't that a perfect match? I guess it makes sense that they're like the same base color because they're the same dyer. So this is the color my friend picked out to be the main part of the top. I think that's going to be really beautiful. Oh, it's so squishy. So I have 2 balls of that. Anyway, I needed socks to make at Best Buy, and then we also went to the grocery store. It was my brother's birthday yesterday, so we went out to dinner, and we also went to a bar to see my dad's like family friend playing in a band. It was the most like Wisconsin looking bar ever. There was carpet in there, which helped with the sound because the band was pretty loud, but it was like, I was like, I don't want to be in a carpeted bar in rural Wisconsin, you guys. That's gross is what that is. Anyway, so I've been working on these. They've been going really fast. I've made the pattern before, but never for myself. The pattern is Stillwater Socks by Summer Lee. And one end of this ball of yarn has a lot more blue in it, and the other one has a lot more of the brown and orange in it, which is very odd to me but this is what's happening. This one has thicker brown stripes and this one has thinner ones. So, you know, they're an interesting pair, but these are my Stillwater socks. I made a little bit of altering to the top of them. I knit tighter cuffs. I did a 60 stitch cuff, and then I moved the start of round so that it would be at the back of the sock, because I don't like it when the join line, the new row line where the little change in height is right on the side. I don't really like that. And then I added 8 stitches back in my first, did a row and a half where I added like 8 stitches back in, and then I moved the start around again so that this faux cable would line up with the ribbing. You see how my ribbing and my cable line up on all sides of the sock. I moved the start of round so that I could make that happen. And then the start of round is like, the old start of round is at the back, and then my ribbing flows into my pattern in a pleasant way. So, yes. I think that might have been what the pattern said originally to do, but I didn't really read the pattern on the ribbing. I did the ribbing, and then I looked up which patterns I had and just decided to do this one, and then I fixed my stitch count and moved all of it like within one row at the same time. I was like, I'm just gonna move my beading around here, and I have this pattern memorized still, even though I haven't made it in a while. So yeah, that repeat looks like I did something. I think I did this one cable on the wrong row, but that's fine. It's fine. So these are exciting. I think it's not going to be that long. There's a lot of pink in this one. It's so pretty. It's not going to be that long until I'm already doing the heels. So I'm expecting these to be done pretty soon, and then I will be picking out a different sock pattern to take to my Florence and the Machine concert. So, those are my whips. That's what I knit in a week during the blizzard and the melting of the blizzard. I hope that you're doing well. Those are my current whips. Hopefully they'll be done next time. We're on a purple theme right now, and I have a project from college that I've never blocked that I'm planning to take out and reuse the yarn, and it's also purple, so we're gonna see that soon. Goodbye.